Today, we're unpacking a concept called the discipline of action beyond the average life. Let's get right into it.
Right off the bat, I actually need to warn you. The material we're diving into today, it is aggressively direct. I mean, it hits you with this jarring ultimatum literally in the first 15 seconds. Stop watching this. If you're okay with being average. Talk about a wake-up call, right? It totally breaks the fourth wall and just forces you to look at your own intentions right this second. It's daring you to prove you're not just part of the herd. Basically, it's telling us that what's coming is gonna make us pretty uncomfortable. And hey, if you can't handle that, you should probably just walk away right now.
But what's really interesting here is how that initial shock actually transforms into this super powerful promise. You know, discomfort is usually the exact thing we're all running away from, isn't it? But here, it's framed as the literal catalyst for personal transformation. Think about it. If you're completely comfortable right now, you're probably stagnating. That friction, that kind of nagging sense of anxiety or resistance you feel when you're about to do something difficult, well, that is the exact coordinate where your life actually begins to pivot. And that leads us into this absolutely devastating trap called the daily illusion. Let's be real. Every single day, millions of people wake up with these incredibly grand ambitions. They look in the mirror and declare, I want to be rich, or I want success, or, I want ultimate freedom. The intention is definitely there. The desire is totally palpable. But then, fast forward to 8 or 9 p.m. The day is basically over, and when you audit what they actually did, zero. Zero action was taken to get closer to those dreams. It's wild. There is just this massive disconnect between what we say we want in the morning and what we actually execute by the time the sun goes down.
To really wrap our heads around this, just imagine the daily routines of two completely identical people. Same age, same background, exact same opportunities. Person one wakes up, grabs the phone, and just scrolls for hours. And ironically, they're probably consuming content about success, right? Saving motivational reels, bookmarking quotes, but they never actually act. Their mantra is always, oh, I'll start tomorrow. Then you've got person two. And here's the secret. Person two also feels lazy. They also feel distracted and tired, but they start anyway. They make the total opposite micro-choice in that critical moment, pushing through, even when the task is just mind-numbingly boring. So ask yourself, honestly, which person are you right now?
Now, the absolute most crucial point to understand is that the gap between person one and person two doesn't just happen overnight. It grows daily, millimeter by millimeter. That widening canyon between success and failure, it's not because one person has this raw innate talent. It's not because the universe magically blessed them with incredible luck. No, it is purely driven by unadulterated execution. It is the compounding interest of tiny, really difficult actions taken day after day, all while that other person is busy just waiting around for the perfect moment to begin.
And then, boom, we hit this massive, totally counterintuitive twist. Success is not exciting. I know, it completely shatters that whole illusion we're sold by movies and social media. We are so conditioned to think that chasing our dreams is gonna feel like this epic, high-energy movie montage with a pounding soundtrack. But the reality check here is severe. True success, it's not always fun. In fact, it is rarely motivating in the moment. By stripping away all that fake glamour, you're actually prepared for the real, gritty terrain you have to navigate if you want to achieve anything meaningful.
So what does that terrain actually look like on a random Tuesday morning? Well, the reality of discipline is remarkably mundane. It's waking up when your bed is super warm and you desperately don't want to. It's sitting down to work when your brain feels completely foggy and you just don't feel like it. And maybe most importantly, it's repeating the exact same unglamorous processes again and again and again. This exact repetition, this profound boredom, guys, that is the number one reason why most people quit. They don't quit because the work is physically impossible. They quit because it just stops being entertaining.
Okay, let's dive into the psychological twist here, because this is where it gets really, really fascinating. Welcome to the comfort trap. You see, your brain is actually not designed to make you successful. Hard pill to swallow, right? Your brain is biologically designed from literally thousands of years of evolution to just keep you safe and conserve energy. It is actively searching for easy dopamine. It wants you to stay on the couch. It wants you to endlessly consume entertainment. So when you're really struggling to be disciplined, you aren't just fighting a bad mood. You are fighting your own hardwired biological design that is actively betraying your long-term goals in favor of short-term safety.
Just look at this overwhelming imbalance we're fighting against here. Like 90% of our daily impulses are driving us toward easy comfort, toward scrolling, toward passive entertainment, and only a tiny 10% sliver of our drive actually leans naturally toward hard discipline. That is crazy. It makes it crystal clear why the fight for discipline is such a steep uphill battle and why achieving anything beyond average requires such a massive conscious override of our absolute default settings. Because every single day you are making a choice, and the stakes, they are incredibly high. Every time you choose comfort, you are literally training your brain to stay average. You're reinforcing those exact neural pathways of inaction. But on the flip side, every single time you choose discipline, you aren't just getting a task done, you're actively rewiring your identity. You're proving to yourself that you are a completely different kind of person. It's not just about productivity anymore, it's about fundamentally changing who you are at a biological and psychological level. And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when you don't override those default settings. You fall straight into the cycle of the average. Step 1, scroll. Just seeking out that cheap dopamine. Step 2, delay the actual work you know you really need to do. Step 3, regret your inaction as the day finally ends. And step 4, wake up the next morning and repeat the whole shebang. It's an exact, painful, just totally devastating loop. And the terrifying part? People can stay stuck in this exact 4-step cycle, not just for days, but for years, or literally decades, while absolutely nothing in their life changes. Which really brings us to what might be the absolute most tragic realization of all. Years pass and people remain stuck in that cycle, not because they are incapable. It's not because they don't have the intelligence or the tools or the potential to win. It is simply because they never actually start. The true failure here isn't trying and falling short. No, the ultimate tragedy is the absolute lack of initiation. The game was literally forfeited before the clock even started ticking. So you're forced into a confrontation right now, right here, right in this exact moment. Are you going to close this explainer, shove your device in your pocket, and walk right back into that comfortable cycle of scrolling and delaying? Or are you finally, today, in this very moment, going to do something completely different? I'm gonna just pause for a second. Seriously, think about your next immediate action. Because the decision you make the second this ends, that dictates exactly which person you are. Because here's the ultimate paradox for you. This knowledge is incredibly powerful. Understanding your brain's comfort trap is absolutely vital. But you do not become successful by just watching explainers about success. You become successful by taking action. The real work, the actual literal rewiring of your identity, doesn't happen while you are passively watching this screen. It begins the very second the screen goes black and you're left completely alone with your choices. So, we'll leave you with this final echoing thought. If you're still watching this, you're not average. But now, it's time to prove it. The challenge has officially been issued. You know exactly what the cycle of the average looks like, and you know exactly what the discipline of action actually requires. The theory part, it's over. The execution starts right now. So, what's your next move gonna be?